English is now the de facto official language of the US government. That's what the Trump administration announced. Let's be honest, this isn't just a shift in policy, it's a step backward, away from immigrant integration. The executive order was signed back in March 2025, but now it has teeth. Just a few hours ago, the Department of Justice issued the memo that makes it operational. That memo affects at least 25 million people with limited English proficiency, recent arrivals, the elderly, the disabled. And here is what it does. It ends the rules that for more than 20 years require federal agencies to offer translation and interpretation services to people who don't speak English. These rules came from Title VI of the Civil Rights Act of 1964, which prohibits discrimination based on national origin. For decades, the government interpreted language access as part of that protection, because if you can't understand the system, you're effectively excluded from it. So that's why we had multilingual forms, interpreters at hospitals, translated legal notices, even entire government websites. But now, unless another law specifically requires it, those services are gone. The memo doesn't just suggest cuts, it orders agencies to audit all their multilingual operations and build a phase-out plan. It closes lep.gov, a government portal for people with limited English, and redirects the funding toward English-only operations. In this matter, the Trump administration has given federal agencies 6 months to come up with a plan detailing how they will use that money to ensure people learn English. And yes, the administration is also pushing for artificial intelligence to help with translation. That might help in certain scenarios, but it will never fully replace human judgment, nuance, or compassion. So what's the logic behind all this? According to the Trump administration, if you offer services in other languages, immigrants won't learn English fast enough. But that simply is not true. Most immigrants want to learn English. They know it's essential to work, thrive, survive. But not everyone can master it overnight. That's why translation was a crutch, it was a ramp, it was a life raft while people found their footing. Let's throw another idea. A lot of people work 2 jobs to make a living. That slows down their English learning. Look, other countries understand this. Canada has 2 languages, English and French, but it still funds public services in dozens of others, including Spanish, Arabic, Mandarin, and Punjabi. Australia provides free English classes and has a national interpreter service 24/7. Sweden legally requires the state to communicate clearly and accessible with all residents, even if that means hiring interpreters or translating key information. But here in the US, we're just building a wall. Not a physical wall, but an administrative one. Quiet, systematic, brick by brick. And this has real consequences. Take Los Angeles County. These multilingual programs cost over $30 million a year, paid for mostly with federal money. That funding is now gone. Or Oklahoma. They lost $6.43 million in federal funds starting July the 1st. And in Oklahoma, English has been the official language since 2010. Without federal money, and with laws that discourage multilingualism, there's no real incentive to keep those programs alive. In fact, more than 30 states either legally declare English as the only official language or actively discourage the public use of others. So even if they can afford it, many states won't continue translation services, not for the lack of funds, but because of ideology. So I ask again, who is the state for? The state is not only buildings and documents. The state is people, and that includes people still learning English. This executive order doesn't build unity or contributes to integration. It builds silence. It doesn't invite people to participate. It actually makes harder to participate. Government paperwork is already hard. Now it will be harder for newcomers. And the most dangerous part? It sounds reasonable. It sounds like, we gave you papers, now you're on your own. Learn English. Good luck. But if we're serious about integration, If this country still wants to be a place where newcomers become full participants, then we need to offer more than a handshake and a closed door. Keep this in mind. Newcomers are not always English speakers. That has been the reality of this country, where at least 350 languages are spoken, if no more. Remember, because this republic belongs to all of us, we have to protect it.